Hey there guys, welcome to the first part of my painting video. What I'm going to be doing is demonstrating spit shading with black ink, getting the black work done of this piece, and next we'll go on to colour. Alright, so this design was originally by Sailor Jerry, a very popular tattoo artist for very good reasons, traditional tattoo artist of course. What I'm doing really is just repainting his design. I've barely changed anything, so I've changed the flowers and the girl's face a little bit, but overall I really like the original design, so I wanted to keep it to its roots. To start off, what I usually do is a sketch. The sketch is done with a Faber-Castell pencil, deep scarlet or scarlet, good colour to go. It sort of allows a distinctive sort of difference between pencil or fine liner and the pencil sketch because it's in red. Also the tip is very soft, so it allows for nice blends and allows your sketches to be reworked without any crucial mistakes. When I'm happy with my sketch, what I usually do is get a bit of tracing paper and trace over the design with a fine liner. This is then placed onto the back of the watercolour paper, and then the watercolour paper is placed onto a light box. I've got a demonstration here of using a light box for dummies. Obviously this line work here is not the one that I'm using, this is one for another design I've done. So yeah, what it does is shine a light through. It's an LED light pad. I'll put a link in the description to buy one if you're interested, but what it does is obviously push the light through and then you can see the lines on top of the watercolour paper, and that allows you to follow the lines. It prevents you from having to pencil anything on, and then when you pencil stuff on, sometimes when you rub it out it sort of ruins the texture of the paper. This is just it's more reliable and it's quite quick. Alright, to get the line work onto the watercolour paper, what I usually use is a not a point, a Unipin fine liner. I think they're about £2.60, £2.50 a go. The waterproof, fade proof, which is very important, otherwise you're going to get faded lines and just ink messes and it just doesn't look great. It'll just become a big purpley blue blur if you use a sort of nylon fine liner or something like that. In the end, once I've done with the whole painting, I usually go over with a nylon one anyway, just to thicken up some lines. Considering the Unipin's only 0.8, and that seems to be the biggest size I can find at the moment. You're gonna need some black ink. You can use watercolour, but my problem with watercolour is it doesn't stick to the page like ink does. It's done dry solid. It can still be washed with the colours. Our Tude black is a pretty good black. I used to use a Tude one, and the good thing about Tude black is that it's usually a matte black, so it doesn't have a shiny surface. I personally like to use Winsor & Newton Black Indian ink. One ink I'd recommend you stay away from it is Dr. Martens black ink. The actual colours set that I have are amazing. I don't personally use them, but I have used them before and I've seen them being used, and the colours that they produce are great, but the problem with the black is it just doesn't go on a solid black. It's more as a purple and it doesn't wash very good. Of course, what else you need is 2 paintbrushes, one for the ink and one for to pull out. I'll explain that when we get to the actual painting. Of course, you'll need a piece of kitchen roll and you need some water. Hot water is recommended, it washes the ink off easier and it keeps the brushes clean. The watercolour paper I'll be using is Daler Rowney, it's 300 GSM, that's the recommended for watercolour paper and when you want it to do traditional tattoo flash. Alright, so a good thing to do next is get your Faber-Castell pencil sketch and use that as a sort of map guideline for the black ink. Obviously it's not a final design, so you can have a bit more leeway when it comes to painting, and obviously it's based on the Sailor Jerry design, so it's a bit easier to sort of have an idea of where everything's going. Alright, so for the actual spit shading, what you do is you get the black ink with one of your brushes and you paint an area. I like to paint from the line, and you paint it solid black until the sort of desired sort of line where you want to pull out the black for a nice fade. And what you do with your other paintbrushes, obviously with a wash of water, not too damp and obviously not too dry, sort of feather out the edge of the black, and it gives a nice sort of shade, a sort of gradient towards the edge. another thing is what you can do is once you've washed it in the water, you shape the brush with your tongue and your lips. That's why it's called spit shading. What you do is just dip it in your mouth and it sort of has like a nice shape to it, and it's nice and moist so it can pull out the colour. I'm quite a big fan of sort of negative space between two fades of black. I mean, it's just a preferred sort of thing. I mean, it's used in the original design anyway, but what I like to do is shade from each side and there'll be like a bit of negative space in the middle. So yeah, I'll show it for a bit. You can sort of see me paint the horse's face. I would go into detail of what paintbrushes I'm using. I mean, one that I'm using for the actual length is a number 4 Meiji brush. I think I bought that from my college, so I can't really say where it's from. On the other brush, I think again I just found it and it's been a really good brush, and it doesn't even have any details on it because I've used it that much. Don't know if you noticed, but it's got like tape wrapped around it because it's one of my favourite brushes and it broke, and I just didn't want to have to get another one because this one's so reliable. I mean, the day will have to come, but I wish I could be more help with that. But alright, so now I've got the horse's face done, I can move on to the hair. For the mane of the horse, what I like to do is sort of, again, have a sort of meeting towards the middle where the shadow hits the mane. I like to do the more solid black and then fade that out. And then, for an example, where the sort of tip of the hair touches the horse's face is where I do the other point, and it sort of meets towards in the middle. However, in the mane, I prefer a sort of a grey tone in the middle in the gradient rather than a completely negative space. So, because I've just done the hair of the horse, I'll move on to the hair of the lady, the cowgirl. Again, it's the same sort of like the top of the curls of her hair is where the black will go, and then the bottom, and then I'll meet it in the middle, again with that sort of grey tone. The sort of spirally ends to the curls, I'll sort of do like a black faded into grey on each side to sort of show that's the sort of tip of each of the rows of hair. So now I've got the cowgirl's hair done, I'll move on to her hat. Basically for the shading, it's sort of where the sort of brim of the hat touches the light underneath that, on the underside of the hat is where the shading will be, obviously. So that's where the black will go, and again where the indents are on the top of the hat are again where the black will go, to sort of represent the light hitting the centre and the curves sort of deflect, sort of creating a shadow. So now her hat's done and her shirt. What I'll do now is her face. As you can see, I've sort of got a shadow coming from where the handkerchief sort of neck scarf is resting on the neck, and then again underneath her chin onto the neck to sort of foreground her face a bit. Other than using solid black on her face, what I do is with the brush that I've been using to spit shade, it'll have some grey pigment to it and just sort of stroke out in the areas like the nose and the cheekbones, rather than having a solid tone. It sort of gives definition but not too much, sort of thing. So now what I've got left to do is the neck scarf. I mean, I really enjoy sort of doing fabrics in this style because you get the sort of ripples and the turns of the fabric. It's just good to get that sort of definition that makes it look like it's on top of a layer, and it just looks really cool. In my opinion, it's the best way to put it, really. That's why I really like doing like sort of like Grim Reapers and stuff, because you get to do the sort of negatives between the sort of ripples in the cloak and stuff like that. It just looks pretty cool. Alright, so we've got most of it done with the black work. Now all I've got to do is sort of the decorative flowers at the bottom. The black will mainly go in the leaves. I mean, it's not really going in any of the petals or the centre of the flower at all. I like to use a lot of black in my leaves. I mean, it's quite rare that I use green. I'm sort of contemplating on whether I will for this design. Again, just from the line and then sort of fading out, and then with this sort of small leaves compared to the long streakier ones, sort of like a curved sort of look to it. And then there's the ones with like the sort of exaggerated fat stems in the middle of the leaves, and again just the tips of the inner sort of shape is where the black will go. Alright, so lots of sort of black work completed. Obviously the painting isn't completed, so I'll go into the colour and then after that I'll reline it, but for the meantime, here's a video just to show some close-ups of the pulls and the shades, the fades. This is where I zoom in and it looks like absolute crap. So yeah, I hope this video helped in some ways, or just entertained you, or informed you in any way. If you stuck to the end, I really appreciate it, and I'm glad you enjoyed my video. Stay tuned for any updates on when I do the colour and the finished piece. Alright, cheers guys.